Blog Talk Radio.
Let's get ready to rumble. On one corner, we have.
We got in this corner. It's Matt Ritchey.
Matt Ritchey, the actor, and on the opposite corner, we have Jim Mitsialkowski, who came to claim the title. And let's see, let the games begin, right?
Absolutely. Ding, ding, ding. Hey. How's it going, man?
I've been waiting for that moment. Hey, it's wonderful. It's great.
Excellent. So good. Nicely done. Nicely introed.
Yeah, well, we have the ending. The end is the best. But like yesterday's movie, like Endgame, I'm like, oh my Lord.
Oh man.
I'm crying.
Oh yeah. Oof.
I cried twice.
God, so much water left my body. It was just it's amazing.
Yeah.
So what's
Although
up, man?
I did. Yeah, no, it's been wonderful. Actually, I've been so busy every day now. I'm getting requests, which is the best place to be because at one point I used to beg people to be on the show, and it turns out the Hollywood Fringe Festival, they want to be on the show.
Exactly.
They are begging to be on the show. So I'm like, okay, this is great.
You found a really good niche.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
yeah.
listen, you can sleep when you're dead. So when you're looking for the success and the success shows up in a different way than you expect, you still got to say yes to it. So, and it's great, man. Congratulations. This has been great. You got some really terrific people and some great shows on there. So it's nice to know that, because I know you're super passionate about Fringe and you're super passionate about your show, and having the two of those things combined is a really kind of it's great that they're coming together like that. Like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah. Yes. And it's organic. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like I'm begging, people. So I'm just, this is the place where I want to be.
You begged me. Let's be fair. You did beg me.
I did beg you the first time.
Okay, that's not true. I actually asked.
But the second time I was like, let me see my schedule. Tomorrow's fine. So tell me about Blackboxing.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Well, it's opening as we're talking. It's opening day of Fringe sales. So it's May, and it's we're getting to that time. We got about 4 to 5 weeks or something before we start going up, and And I'm pretty close to ready. So essentially, this year I'm doing something a little bit different. I've been doing Fringe for about 5 years, and in that time I wrote 2 shows and I directed 9, and I've had a blast with all of them. They've just been great. I've been super happy about it. But the one thing that I have not done is acted on stage in any of these things, because I started off as an actor. Like that's what my degree is in. I did the whole 4-year thing, and then I went to London and I did a thing in Shakespeare. So I was always going to be an actor, and things totally changed in 2011, and I just kind of let go of all of that and decided to get into directing, which has been great, and I love it and really enjoy it. And but last year I was talking to my friend Jim. Now, for anybody who doesn't know Jim is the stage manager at the Dory Theater at the Complex during the Fringe. He's a gigantic man who is just the biggest teddy bear in the known universe. He is like the nicest guy. I've known Jim for a while. He actually stage managed the first play that I directed in what I consider the beginning of my starting to really officially like direct full time. So 2014, I did a show called Gearhead and the Real Bot, which was done by unknown artists. And he was my stage manager, and we just had a blast. And I've worked with him on a bunch of other shows since then. And he's consummate professional and very, very fun guy. And he always works in the Dory Theater. Now, I don't know how many people either who have done Fringe or who know anything about Fringe know how things work for stage managers there. But they've got to run lights, sound, and video for every show that is in their space. And you know, Victor, that like, you know, every space has 10 shows, 20 shows, depending on the year. And they come in one after the other, after the other, after the other. So you got these stage managers who are in this tiny, cramped, dark booth with like hardly any time. Like no time to eat. There's no time to go to the bathroom. They just have to bang, 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 go, 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 and they got to see the same shows over and over. And it's a rough gig. They're definitely, you know, the unsung heroes of the Fringe as far as I'm concerned. And as you also know from seeing Fringe, there are wildly different shows at Fringe. There's some stuff that's traditional, very the Music Man type kind of thing, and then there's some stuff where it's like unicycle on the street, you know, reading original poetry and slam dance type kind of stuff. And some stuff that's amazingly good and some stuff that's really amazingly bad. And so you've got stage managers who have to watch all of it over and over and over and over again. And I was joking last year with Jim, and I was saying, you know what we ought to do? We ought to do a show where there is a stage manager who's on his last nerve. He can't take it anymore. And an actor comes in doing a one-person show who doesn't really know what he's doing, but thinks that he does and is just being really obnoxious, and upsets the stage manager so much that he snaps and gets his revenge during the performance by screwing with all of the lights and sound and just making the show a complete disaster. And so we both really loved this idea. And I said, okay, this is terrific. I'm gonna, I'll maybe work on this thing sometime, and we'll do we'll put it up, call it Blackboxing, because it takes place at a black box theater, and they're fighting, you know. And so I was gonna write this and maybe direct somebody in it, and have a good time. And something kind of changed at the end of last year, which was I was asked by Matthew Quinn to do this How to Direct class, which you and I spoke about not long ago. And in order to kind of get started with that, I had to he asked me to take his How to Produce a Hollywood Fringe Show class to kind of get a sense of how he runs things. So as I was sitting there, and I've produced a number of shows, so I kind of knew the information. So as I was sitting there and listening to all of this stuff again and kind of reliving how much fun it is to do Fringe, I started thinking about this Blackboxing show again. And I had this sudden, you need to do this, and you should actually perform it. You should actually do the full show for the first time. And I'm kind of, as it happened, I'm kind of at this point in my life where I really need things to take a giant leap forward. And the only way that I feel like I can do that is to just trust that things are going to happen. Just do something nuts and, leap and the net will appear, for lack of a better word, right? And so the next day I paid money for a space. Now, I don't do that. I have a draft of a script, and then I have a second draft of a script, and then I have a reading, and then I do a third draft of a script, and then I consider raising some money. But this time around, it was like, I'm just going to put the money down, so now I have to do a show. So I'm either going to lose money, or I have to write and perform a show at Fringe now. Right. So I kind of backed myself into this, jumper. You got to jump
into the corner. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. and that's really scary. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And at the time,
Yeah.
I was going through kind of a rough time as well, because this is around November, and as comedic as the idea of the show is, I always feel like you got to have an anchor. There's got to be something to your show that is emotionally connected. And the way that I do most of my shows is I like to do complete insanity. Like, I like to do really goofy, crazy stuff. I have had dancing fish on stage. I've had all of this kind of, goofiness.
Yeah.
But when it comes right down to it, I want audiences to see this stuff, laugh hysterically, have a really good time, and then there needs to be one moment where something very serious and important hits. And because they've been open and are laughing, it hits all the much harder. It's like, oh, this is what we're talking about. And for this round, what I kind of decided was to deal with something that I was dealing with in November, which is I was hardcore depressed. I considered suicide like 3 or 4 times last year. Like, we were talking about the How to Direct class, and I taught the first of the How to Direct classes, and when I got out of class, there was a woman who I didn't know who took the class, who was very sweet, and afterwards she was saying, oh my gosh, I enjoyed that so much, and you've got such great energy, and you've got such great energy, and you're so fun. And I thought to myself, wow, this woman has no idea that this morning, literally, I considered skipping this and taking a bottle of pills and drinking an entire bottle of Jack Daniels. And I've been through this before, so after a couple of weeks, I was like, okay, I've got to get on medication. So I'm not going to do this to myself. I know the answers to this, so I'm just going to have to force myself to get out of this hole real fast and do what it's going to take to get better. So I was able to do that. I talked to a couple of people and got back on some medication, and I'm good now. But I thought, what a really important thing to talk about. Because it's so silent. It's not something that a lot of people understand and where the people can really tell is happening to someone.
Right.
So I thought, what would be a really great thing to do is what if this was about a guy who was dealing with that, and he was actually doing his whole show to try to express what he was going through. Even if he was doing a bad job doing it, he thinks he's supposed to do this over the top, crazy performance thing. But he has to actually learn to just express how he feels and ask for help. And he can't, he's got to go through this entire thing of craziness and acting nuts and doing these nutty things in order to get to the point where he realizes, I just need to ask for help.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually very, very interesting. No, yeah. No, and actually I have been there as well.
Yeah.
Working for a corporate office, and I'm wrong. I don't know if I told you. But yeah, there comes a moment where I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was having a heart attack, and I was having a panic attack, basically.
Panic attacks.
And so I told my supervisor at the time, I emailed her or whatever, messaged her, because we couldn't talk in this office, right? Which is already, to me, is death. And then not only can we not speak, can we not giggle or whatever, but we had to communicate, even if there are 2 cubicles away from her, we had to do it on the instant message. So I sent her a message, and I'm like, I don't feel well. I think I might have to go to the emergency room or, urgent care. And she replies to me, she says, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
And at that moment, I lost it. I started weeping, crying, out of frustration too, and anger. And I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. And so, that was the wildest ride all the way to Pasadena, which is the only urgent care that was open.
Oof.
I could have died because I was going 100 miles an hour. I was, you know what I mean? Like my state of mind. Yeah. So you already know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, no, man.
I didn't know what was going on, but it was basically too many things at one point, and I guess I didn't want to do it to the point where I feel. But I told the doctor that I saw. I told him, I'm like, I might commit suicide if you don't do anything about this.
Yeah.
So I spelled it out for him, and he just left without even knowing what to do. People don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's rough, man. I mean, like one of the things that I'm trying to do with the show is it's like how can you really explain to someone who hasn't gone through this what it's really like? You know, because it's not, you know, the problem is we use this word depressed, right? And everybody's felt depressed. Everybody's been upset. Everybody's felt like, you know, oh, having a bad day. You know, everybody's felt that way. So when you say to somebody, I'm depressed or I'm clinically depressed or whatever, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I've been through that. And it's not the same thing. It's really not the same thing. It's a different kind of, well, it's a disease, really. I mean, it's not the same as I'm having a bad day. It's this kind of pervasive thing. I don't want to get into exactly what I say, but let's just say that I try to sum up exactly what it is at the end of this show. So I'll let you guys grab a ticket so you can come and check that out. But
right.
But yeah, it's a very different thing, and that's I went really back and forth about what I wanted this to be, but I think, you know, having the comedy of somebody trying to do a one-person show when they really kind of don't know what they're trying to talk about, and then actually being able to really say something that I consider to be really important, because I think this is a very silent thing that a lot of people, you know, some people don't know how to deal with. They don't know how to look at things. I think people might have family and friends who just completely wouldn't understand, and it's a very isolating kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's I'm really glad I settled on this one, because I think it's a good thing to talk about, and you know, it's also going to be really, really funny. Don't get me wrong. Like I've got like a serious.
Sounds hilarious,
like, you know,
so far.
it's hysterical, right? I mean, that's my thing. Is it's like, you know, I always want to take something that's really serious, and if you fill around it with as much comedy as you possibly can, then hopefully that serious message is going to hit all the harder when you go, all of this stuff is really funny. Here's what's really going on. Hey, I'm covering up with comedy. So, yeah, so that's what's happening. And, but it's going to be, it really is going to be a lot of fun. I just got my, director, because I'm working with Matthew Martin as a director. I knew that there's no way, if I'm doing essentially a one-person show. It's a two-person show, because Jim is my actual stage manager, and he's playing my stage manager. So I mean, he's kind of doing double duty. But I'm going to be really the only one on stage. And you know, one of the things that I always tell people is, if you are going to be acting in your own show, you need an outside director. So I am taking my own advice. There's no way I could do this on my own. So I've got Matthew Martin, who is a great director. He's got another show going up at Fringe as well. So we've been working together. He's been coming up with some really great stuff that we can work on. There's going to be a lot in this show. It's not only the story of, it's not me, by the way. It's worth saying this is not a one-person show about Matt Ritchey at all. This is a character. This is about a guy named Travis
Yeah.
who works at a tech company and has just decided, you know what, I've always wanted to be an actor. I'm gonna go ahead and he took a class where he was doing Streetcar Named Desire. He was going a little bit too over the top, and his teacher stopped him and said, "Don't act. You're enough. You are interesting enough." And he thinks that means his life is incredibly interesting. So he decided to do a show about his entire life. So, and that's what.
Oh God.
And he's really doing the show as a way to talk to his parents who are coming to see the only performances. He can only afford one performance, so he's doing this show to kind of explain to his parents how his depression feels, because his parents don't get it. They're like, you know, all these other people who they don't understand what depression really is. They just think he's being all emo and having a bad day.
Right.
And the reason I stress that this is no longer me, because I wrote a version of this where it was actually me, and I was trying to write about myself, and I don't think I'm that interesting. So with some really good, I got some very good advice from my friend Javier, which is after seeing a version of this, he's like, no, this needs to be about somebody else. I'm like, yes, that's how I planned it originally. Very good call. Thank you very much. So now that it's about kind of somebody else, I can make
really go over the top.
Yeah, and the themes are all me. You know, like the stuff that I'm talking about thematically is all very important to me, right? But it doesn't have to be me. It's about somebody else in different circumstances. Like, you know, both of my parents totally understand all of this stuff. I mean, they're both in the medical profession, and you know, my mom was the one who was like, go back on medication right now. You know, I mean, they totally get it. But for the purposes of the show, you know, we got to have this guy needs to do something. So there you go. But
yeah.
So anyway,
okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing. But well, listen, man, I have to. I got to jump off. I apologize.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm taking a little time from work, and I gotta jump back in. But but thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming to the show. And once you get off, I'm gonna tell people about the details of the show and everything. So thank you for coming to the show. I'll see you. Will you be there tonight?
Yes, I'm going to office hours tonight. Yeah, everyone should do. Everybody should come to office hours.
Okay, so I'll see you in office hours, and then have an awesome day, and I'll see you later.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
You're welcome. You're gonna miss the last song, but oh well, you'll hear it later.
Oh man, what's all right. Well then I'm really looking forward to checking this out on the podcast.
Yeah, you'll hear it later.
Cool.
All right, so
thanks, brother.
You're welcome.
Talk to you
All right, so okay, talk to you soon. All right, so basically, Blackboxing, as you heard, is going to be Matt Ritchey, and I have to really look at his name because it's Jim. Oh God. Mitsialskowski. I said it better earlier, actually. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. But anyway, so it's basically Matt Ritchey and him and Jim doing a one-person act, which is really not. It's going to be playing at the Complex Hollywood at the Dory Theater. So Dory Theater is one of those theaters in the complex. The show is basically goes on sale today, so you guys want to go buy your tickets ASAP so that you don't have to, well, there's going to be different shows, but the first one is going to be on June 6th, and it's 45 minutes, so you guys want to get your tickets early. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, so there's 6 shows going on. I really want to see this show. Not only because I love Matt Ritchey, but also because his writing is. I haven't seen his own writing. I've seen his directing, job yesterday, last year actually, but I haven't actually, yeah, I haven't seen one show that he's written yet. So I'm looking forward to Blackboxing, and obviously this is the theme has shifted. I thought it was more comedic. Now I'm like, oh wow, this is serious. So yeah, get ready for this show. So it's very very good. And I'm looking forward to seeing him tonight, so I can give him a hug because I love this guy. And it's a theme that is touches. eh, I'm sure it touches a lot of people that are hearing this. Um, anyways, it's personal, so I must come support. And as always, if you're listening, Matt, don't hesitate to call me when you're feeling like that, and do the same if I do. Of course, I do. You do have to have support group, um, and I'm not saying support group as in hi Matt, but I'm saying you have to call. You have to talk to somebody. You have to, because it takes really a lot for someone to be in that situation, in that stage. And it takes a lot of people to get you out of it. So whenever you feel like this, whenever anybody feels like this, they should talk to somebody. Just ask for help. It takes a lot. It does take a lot because you don't want to admit it. You think you're gonna be fine, by taking the pills or by drinking something or smoking something or, you know, but it doesn't. It doesn't go away. You have to speak. You have to say something. So I'm hoping that Black Boxing is going to be. I know it's going to be a great show, and it's going to be, like I said, tickets will be going on sale at 11 today. So in 2 hours precisely, these shows will go on sale. I mean, this show will go on sale. And so go get your tickets. Go to HollywoodFringe.org. I already put the link below, HollywoodFringe.org. And the project number is 5704. But of course, you can always go back to this link, and then you'll see the link below. Or you can go to his Facebook. I'm sure they have they actually do have a website. Let me see what the website is here. Yeah, imaginaryreality.net. So imaginaryreality.net //blackboxing. That's their website. So check it out. Check out Matt, Jim, and the director Matthew. Another two Matts here. There's a lot of Matts in. Anyways, so without further ado, I'm gonna give you the last song because we are out of time. Well, he already left, but I'm gonna play this song for you. Get pumped up for the show, Blackboxing. It will be amazing. And here is Eye of the Tiger.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.